What is worse than showing up for a dinner at the time that the host told you to show up and the food not ready till 2 hours later? Girl, what are you waiting on? Follow me on Instagram, like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell notification. Hey boo, I am back with another video, and today I am going to be doing something slightly different. I am going to be giving you 5 mistakes that you are making in the kitchen. I know you're like, but girl, I cook a lot, I know what I'm doing. These are not like the average things that you would think of. These are the things that you're likely overlooking, and I'm giving you my tips so that you can get the most bang for your buck when it comes to your kitchen. Okay, let's dive in. First, you are not making a list, okay? I pride myself on being organized and efficient, but in order for me to be efficient, I have to have a list. So when I am meal prepping or making any type of meal that requires more than one step, I am making a list on my marker board. So for my meal prep, I might organize everything by breakfast, the items that I'm making, and then for my lunch meals, I'm going to write out every single step that needs to be done. This helps me get everything out of my brain so that I'm not all over the place and I can easily check things off. I'm a list kind of girl. I really enjoy checking things off and it makes me feel really accomplished. So if you're the same like me, then girl, get you a little marker board and write you a list. I'm telling you, it changes the game, especially because the holidays are going to be coming up soon. And if you're making a dinner for you or your family, then you need to have that list, especially when you're prepping things days in advance. So when it comes to making like holiday meals, I'll have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, each thing that I need to do on Thursday, each thing for Friday and Saturday, so I can feel accomplished and like I am staying on track and so that everything is done on time. Because what is worse than showing up for a dinner at the time that the host told you to show up and the food not ready till 2 hours later? I don't like that. That's just not me. Being on time is my ministry. So if you're trying to be on time, get everything done the way that you like for it to be done, then make you a list, girl. Second thing, when you season your food, you are seasoning your food over the open heat. Let me tell you, this is a major no-no. I recently learned about why this was problematic. So when you take your seasoning and you got your chicken in the skillet on the stove, right? You sprinkle your seasoning over the chicken in the skillet. All of that condensation from that smoke, that water evaporating, is getting into your seasoning bottle and it's making your seasonings clumpy. So what I want you to do is pop that top off of your seasoning bottle, or just shake those seasonings into a small ramekin and mix up the different seasonings that you want to use on that dish. Mix it all together in your ramekin and then take that and sprinkle that over your chicken or whatever you're seasoning. It also helps you develop better proportions for what you want your flavor profile to be as well. Because how many times have we been seasoning something and we're like, was that enough? I don't know if that was enough salt. But when you actually mix your spices in the ramekin and add your salt to the ramekin as well, you can put a little bit on your finger, taste and be like, oh, okay, I need a little bit more of this and I need a little bit more of that. You don't have to wait until your item is done cooking to be like, dang, that could have used a little more garlic. Like, dang, I need a little more salt and black pepper. So mix your seasonings in the ramekin first. Third, this one is a little odd, but it's a game changer. If you became a plant parent during the quarantine, like a lot of people did, now listen, I've been a plant mama for a few years now, but when I learned that you actually had to fertilize your plants, I was like, oh, I thought all I had to do was water them and then like cut off the dead leaves and they would be okay. Girl, no, you gotta fertilize these things, give them nutrients, do all this other stuff, aerate the roots and change out the soil, get them bigger pots. And I was like, oh my God. So what I learned was when you boil eggs, save that water from your boiled eggs. Do not pour it down the drain. Pour that into your pot that you use to water your plants and give your plants that nutrient-dense water, because the eggshells have calcium in them. And then when you boil the eggs, some of that calcium gets into the water. So you're going to want to save that water. What I do is during fertilizing season, which is usually the spring, summertime when your plants are going to grow the most, I add in the fertilizer that I typically use for my plants with that egg water, and I water my plants with that. Baby, you will get new blooms all the time, okay? So save your egg water and water your plants with that. Also, when it's winter and fall, when it's not the fertilizing season, it's still going to be good to give your plants that egg water. Just trust me. Just trust me. It works, okay? And while we're on that same token with plants, add a little hydrogen peroxide to your water as well. It helps aerate the roots. So those are things that you can do during the non-fertilizing season for your plants to help them grow a little bit more. You can also save the shells. Just make sure that your shells are completely clean, and you can pulverize the eggshells. If you have an edible garden in your backyard, then you can pulverize those shells and put that into your soil to provide some extra calcium, or you could put that into your plants as well. I don't do that because that's just too much work for me, so I just do the egg water. For our fourth tip, when you defrost your meat or when you bring your meat home, I want you to put it in your fridge in that drawer at the bottom. So you know that drawer that we typically use for our fruits and our vegetables? I want you to use one of those drawers specifically for meat when you have to defrost your meat. When you organize your fridge, the last thing that you want to do is have defrosting meat at the top, or meat in general at the top that's not cooked. Because what will happen is those juices will trickle down your fridge, down onto your raw fruits and vegetables. Salmonella spreads everywhere. E. coli, whatever else is on that meat juice just spreads everywhere. And then that's just not sanitary. So if you want to be like extra cautious, I want you to put that meat in that drawer so that whatever juices come out of that packaging, because we all know that it happens, goes right into that drawer. So when it comes time to pull that meat out, you're like, oh, it's contained into this drawer. Like, I'm fine. I'll just pull this drawer out and disinfect it. You don't got to go through the whole process of disinfecting your entire fridge every single time you see some meat draining out of that package, because we all know that that's annoying. It takes so much time to disinfect and deep clean the fridge, okay? And if I just did it a week ago and now I got this meat in here with these juices trickling all over the place, I ain't trying to do it again, okay? So save you the time, okay? For my fifth and final tip, I want you to use the appropriate oils and fats when you are cooking. I know all of us use extra virgin olive oil for every single thing in our kitchen, and that is just not the right thing to do. Oils have different smoke points. And by smoke point, what I mean is that when you crank that heat up a little bit too far, that's when the oil becomes smoky. When the oil becomes smoky, that's when it turns into all those bad and nasty ingredients, okay? So for me, when I use extra virgin olive oil, I am mainly using it when I'm doing like a slow simmer on the stove, or mainly just for my salad dressings, because I make homemade salad dressing. But olive oil is, extra virgin olive oil at least, is actually more of like a finishing oil, or like I said, when you're doing a slow simmer or something in the crock pot that's really low or whatever, right? So when I am doing something that requires a little bit of a higher heat, I primarily use coconut oil, but you can use grapeseed oil or avocado oil. I tend not to buy avocado oil because it's costly, and if I'm using something regularly, I don't want to have to keep shelling out my coins, okay? So I will primarily buy refined coconut oil for my higher heat cooking. I will also use butter when I cook, because I like the flavor of butter, and I'd rather use butter that is a very simple ingredient with an ingredient label that I can pronounce that comes from one single source than some fake plant-based butter that's really just solidified vegetable oil. They're really gaming people with this plant-based labeling and all of that, because why would you buy like chemicals in a solidified version because it's called plant-based, but not by real butter. They just got y'all all confused. So those are my 5 tips for the things that you are doing incorrectly in your kitchen, okay? So I want you to save your egg water. I want you to use the correct oil when you are cooking. I want you to defrost your meat in a drawer. I want you to make a list of everything that you are doing while you are cooking so that you can check them off and stay on track. I want you to mix your spices in a ramekin so that you're not making your spice bottles all clumpy and stuff. You know, when you gotta get your spice, you gotta bang it on the counter because it's all hard and clumpy. That's because you let that air get up in there, and that air ain't supposed to be in there. Okay? Those are all of my tips. I will catch y'all in the next video.